Are you guys sick of talking heads telling you what you need to buy? I am too. However, I got a deal that you gotta hear. CE ferulic acid serum, triple lipid moisturizer with my new online store, Skin Medicinals, for just $75 each. That is over 50% less than common serums and lipid moisturizers that are on the market with the same quality. Check it out in the description. You're gonna see a discount code and you're also gonna see the link. Come check it out. Thanks for popping by. Okay guys, MrPopZit here. A common occurrence that we see, and very cool. She found us on YouTube and has seen some of our drainage videos of Steatocystoma multiplex. And you can see some vellus hair cysts, maybe even some blackheads here. We're gonna kind of come up and we see, small to medium sized ones. And as we come up here on the collarbone as well, my light's a little bright, let me bring that down. We can kind of see these little clusters. As we come over here, you can also see on the neck, she has some pretty decent ones there. And then even possibly a little cyst here in the back. So she traveled to see us. We're gonna try to get as many of the big ones as we can so you don't really see those in the summertime when we're at the beach or at the pool. We're gonna get her numbed up and prepped, and you can see when you pull the skin is when you really see these better. Not super big, but if we can drain that out of there, she'll be looking a lot smoother, and that's the goal. So thanks to her for sharing, and thanks for popping by. We'll get her prepped and ready and be right back. Okay, so we have her all prepped and ready, and I think this might be a little follicular cyst here. We're gonna see. Yeah, it looks like a little cyst. Start with that one as one of the bigger ones. Very good. And you know what we'll do? A little finger squeeze. I'm gonna get some forceps and see if we can get that sac out. So this is likely a little cyst in here. See if we can kind of pull some of that sac out. Yeah, I can see the sac right there. And this is likely, which is common with Steatocystoma multiplex, an epidermal inclusion cyst. So this is not a Steatocystoma. It's common to have both, but the contents are like dried keratin flakes of skin cells. You can see that there. Where in Steatocystomas, we'll commonly see a lot of vellus hairs, little hairs, and a very thin sac. We won't see that like clumps of keratin there. And sometimes we gotta grab that and just slowly back that out. And a lot of people ask, why is the content dark? And it depends. There's more skin cells in there and the skin has some pigment and melanin. That's what we're seeing. If it's more oil, it'll be more yellowish or kind of creamy in consistency. Almost. You can see we got everything out of the sac.
Was that one more like waxy kind of?
Yeah, well, the one that was kind of darker that looked like a cyst, that's what it was. And it's just kind of dry, crumbly skin cells, and that's the sac right here. Even the sac has some pigment to it. You can see there. Interesting. There's the sac right there. You can see.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, kind of smushed everything out. See, make sure. Yeah. So that little tiny 1 to 2 millimeter, that'll just heal together there. You don't need to put a stitch in that. Just a little Band-Aid, and that'll kind of put that together like that and heal great. And that was a pretty good sized dark spot. Now you can see its skin tone, and we got everything out. Now these are likely going to be Steatocystomas, whether they're dried out or not. We'll see here. If you feel any pinch, let me know and I can give you a little bit more. Sorry.
Okay.
You shouldn't though. There we go. Yep. Just a little bit of cream in there. She You did great. You can see that bump's gone instantly, which is nice. Another one right there. Really bringing them to the surface. A little pinch, sorry. We got to kind of grab them, especially on the small ones. There it is. Got it. Because if you just push in with this, they'll push down a lot of times in the small ones. So you really got to get behind them. That's good. I'm going to see on that first one if there was a sac right there. Nice. Yep, a little bit. Even if we kind of get that sac and just kind of rough it up a little bit, the body will usually reabsorb, but hers are actually on this first one right by the surface. A little bit of tugging, we can usually get those out. That's great. A lot of people ask, do you have to get the sacs out? I say it again and again, you don't have to. But if you can do it easily, especially in skin of pigment. It does lessen the chance of regrowth, and it shouldn't regrow. And that was a good size one there through 1 millimeter opening. Perfect.
Was the sac on the big? Did you get the sac on the big one?
Mm-hmm.
Oh.
Yeah, on the Steatocystoma. Yep, came out. See if there's one here. Yeah, a little bit. Just a little sinuous kind of vellus hairs all mixed together. Just getting bits of that can be helpful too. So the smaller ones, if we can kind of tear it up a little, that usually helps as well. Good. You can see how flat it is already. That's great to see. That's what we do it for. There we go. Got it. Let's get this one here too. Very good. Do see one more pinch to numb. I do see one right below this one that we didn't numb right here. Sorry.
It's all right.
I want to get that for you too. There it is. Very good.
Do you mind if I move my neck a little?
Yeah, you can move around. You get a neck cramp.
I did, yeah.
For sure. You can kind of move around a little. You're doing great. A little bit of fluid in that one. Good. Very nice. So you can see now when we pull that, all these are flat. And as that heals, little teeny tiny pokes are going to look like just a little bit of acne healing, and then that'll go back to normal skin tone with minimal scarring. That's great. Very good. Okay, let me come down here. Okay, so we got a good size one here. Good. Drier one, you can see. So common we get the dry and the kind of fluid filled ones right beside each other. You never know what you're going to get. That's a dried out sac there too. So sometimes the sac will come out or part of it dried out. That's great. That's a pretty good size one. That one went deep. Another there, just some fluid. Just a little bit in that one. Pain not too bad?
Nope, I haven't felt
Good.
anything.
Awesome. That's the way it should be. So sometimes finger squeezes from different angles here. If we have a couple that are clustered or different pockets, you'll get a little bit more sometimes coming through there. Giving them a last squeeze. That's good. Might be a little sack on that one. There was a little bit right there at the surface. Sometimes the bigger ones, they do come right up to the surface. You can get a hold of them. There it is. Good. Some pieces of it there. Very nice. And we pull there. It's looking good. Do you see one other small one right beside? There it is. Saw that, but just by pulling the skin. So that looks great. And these little teeny tiny ones, if you don't see them when you're looking, we're going for the biggest ones here, because when we have 100, 150, it's not fun to get that many shots. So we're just giving shots to numb on the bigger ones, and those bumps that when you're just seeing without pulling the skin, we get those, because that's usually the ones of concern. So we'll go to the other side now. So decent size one here, nice and numb. Sometimes a fibrous sac, there it is. That one just had some fluid, but I feel very fibrous. There it was. It was pushing to the side when I was squeezing it. Very nice. That one's dry, and the first one was more moist. We've had the discussion too about indentations pulling the sac out, especially on the neck. And I have seen that, usually on bigger ones, but you'll get little, what looks like little scooped out divots. You really don't want that on the neck, so that's another, kind of defense of really draining and not pulling out too big a sac sometimes in crucial areas. People don't like bumps, but they also don't like divots. If we can just get it flat, that's our goal for the most part. Very good. Do you see a sac on that one we're going to go for? There's a little there. And if I can just, you can see, just even disrupt the sac, we're getting the job done. Very nice. No pain with that pulling, right? You're okay?
Mm-hmm.
Good. Great. I'm going to just trim the bottom of that. That'll come out. Sometimes roll it a little bit. You can roll them out. There you go. There's the sac there. Excellent. If you want to move your neck for a second here. Very nice. So you see it's getting flat here where we were pulling the bumps. There it is. It's just a little bit to the right and we got it. 2 right in a row here. There we go, that one was kind of dry. Certain areas can be tricky, like when we're squeezing right under the neck. Just to get in there. Now we'll come down here. It's a long one. I always find it interesting when there's two that are right beside each other and one is extremely dry and the other one has a lot of fluid. I don't know why, but you just assume that maybe they would form similarly, but it's a hard word to say, similarly. But they don't. You'll see quite a bit of a difference. Just like that, fluid and then paste and fluid. It was like one after the other. I'll come back through and just make sure like that. There'll be a little bit at the bottom sometimes. Kind of squeeze from different angles to get the bottom of that sac and make sure we got everything out. She has been a trooper with lots of shots and lots of squeezing. But that's what she came for. Very nice. And just pulling the skin there, we can see, I mean, that's flat. You know, she's got little tiny ones here, but we didn't want to concentrate on the little ones. As they get bigger, maybe in a year, you know, that's something we can readdress if we need to. But when people travel, I'm not seeing them, you know, a couple in a couple months. It's usually one, and we want to get the maximum benefit by getting most of the big ones for her. Perfect. Now we'll come down here. Okay. Here we go, and these are teeny tiny. Yeah, there we go.
I felt a little bit on that
A
one.
little,
Yeah.
okay. Yeah, a little squeeze. There was quite a bit in there, actually. You can see that was a dry one. Anything there? No? Not too bad? Good. This is actually going to work great. These are just little pockets that are dried up. I don't have to cut them very big at all. And look at that, one follicular cyst. So you can really tell by the keratin contents right here at the top. That's kind of dead skin cells there. And at the bottom, it's a little yellow, like it's oxidized a little. Very good. Another one, Steato. Another Steato. Now I do see two small ones there. I'm gonna give her a little shot. We'll get those two. Sometimes these little ones that we see will literally be like a little plug, and they're really difficult. I was wondering if this was gonna be that way, and it's not at all. These are the type that we have great results with. So when we squeeze those out, those bumps will go. So you have two little ones. I can give you a shot with a needle or just do a little poke. If you want, I can do one, see what you feel. Do you want to try or do you like a shot?
Could I have a shot?
Yeah, we'll do a shot. I know sometimes you feel the shot and not the poke or just the poke. We'll do that. Just a bit right there. Sorry.
Ooh.
It's got a bite to it.
Yeah.
And then one more. Good, you did great. Just takes a little bit of that.
Ooh.
There we go.
Okay.
Got him. All right. A poke, then for another poke right there. Very good. Got those. So you can see all that coming out. That's quite a bit. And they look small, but there's a pocket in there. And I come back through here, just kind of come from different angles. Make sure the last bit at the bottom, right there too, and here as well. Very good. That's gonna stay flat for quite some time. Got it. Okay, one more here. Could be a cyst. Yep. Look at that, sac and all. That's what we like to see. So that was actually an epidermal inclusion cyst with a nice sac, and you see that white fluffy, there was some oil in there with skin cells. You can really, because these kind of flake off like that. That's how you tell the difference from the creamy Steatocystomas. No vellus hairs in there either, didn't see any. Another one here. Steatocystoma. Somebody I saw in the comment section was doing a drinking game, and they were like, if it's a steatocystoma, you take a sip. If it's a cyst, you take a shot or a blackhead. I was like, what?
That's funny.
I know, these people are out of control. Little poke. That looks like a little epidermal. Oh, we had some vellus hairs at the bottom I saw at the end. It could be a little vellus hair cyst. They're all rolled up. You can see right there. Very nice. Oh, and had some hairs in it too. A little bit of everything. This looks like a little inflamed one. I'm not really messing. No, we'll try. We'll see if we get something out of that. I'll give you another shot on that one too.
It was really big before.
It was
like
okay.
One of my biggest ones, and then it
just kind of went down.
kind of went down after it got inflamed.
I bet you we'll get a little ball out of there. We'll give it a shot, literally. Everybody's also like, don't laugh at his stupid jokes. I'm like, come on, guys. All right. Little pinch.
Okay.
Deep breath. Good. Did great. Sometimes when they swell up like that, they may have burst and your body kind of reabsorbed it and it actually is going away.
Okay.
Or it's just there's a little sac in there, it needs to come out. We'll see. I think there's going to be a little sac. Just from all, yeah, there we go. And interestingly enough, it started to liquefy and break down. So that inflammation, that's what happens. That's really interesting. And because there's inflammation there, it bleeds more. So it's kind of an inflamed spot. You see all the contents now coming out. That little ball may have burst or it just got inflamed from something and the body started dissolving it. You could actually see the particles of it. It's a good one to end on. Got one more, I think, but that's really good. We'll get her a Band-Aid there. That one will bleed more just because it was inflamed. But now when we come through here and we pull that skin, you see, man, she's going to be nice and flat for the summer here. So she can go to the beach and all the things and you won't see these little bumps. If you pull, yeah, I don't even really see many small ones here. So she'll be good for a while, most likely with that. Pulling, I see this one here likely was starting to break down. One there and one there. So we'll do 3 more, and I think you'll be good. I'm going to give you a shot, though, for all 3.
Okay.
Yeah. Man, you did great. Gosh, we actually got more out than I thought we would on several of these. Little pinch. Sorry, deep breath. There we go. And right here, a little pinch. Sorry. Very good. Last one. There's a little one right there, a little pinch. The Lido has, it's an acid, so it does sting a little, but it works quick.
Yeah, we got a lot more done than I thought we would too.
Yeah,
Happy.
you did really well. I'm impressed. This will be a little ball because it looks like it was inflamed. Yeah, it was going down just a ball. It's actually a full small cyst there. You can smash it and see there's a little sac. This will probably be creamy. Yep. Steato, and probably another steato there. Hopefully not too painful. Yeah. And just squeeze the last bits of that. Perfect.
Well, some of them will just, like, the body will start to dissolve it by itself?
Sometimes, like when you get one that's inflamed like that, your body was breaking that down. Eventually, it would most likely reabsorb if it burst in there. Sometimes you get almost like a small abscess. If anything, at least it would dissolve most of it. Sometimes not 100%, but yeah. Like in this one here, we just had some scar tissue. That's possibly either one that they tried to drain before at some point, or it burst and it just kind of went away. But I think, yeah, that was all. We didn't have another one there. Great. So what I like about her presentation is she doesn't have a lot of real teeny tiny ones. There's maybe 3 or 4, but when we go through and do 20, 25 like that, and she doesn't have many small ones, she's going to be very happy. It's going to look great once all these little brown spots heal from the little bit of mild trauma we did. It's totally worth going through the shots. So that's good. Okay, guys, I'm so glad she found me. It's really nice to be able to make a difference, and especially in younger people in a sensitive area. You know, being able to go through there and pop out those little sacs, those things were just going to get bigger. Catching them early is important, making minimal trauma, little tiny pokes as small as we can. And that's sometimes for years she's going to be good there. It could be 6 months to a year. It could be 5+. Time will tell. If we start getting new ones, we can get a little bit more aggressive and try to pull more sacs. In the beginning, on her bigger ones on the neck, I got a couple sacs out. On the smaller ones that were dry, the sac came out with it. So everyone was different, and every single one of these sessions is always different and interesting to me, at least, when you see the different types and how close they can be and how different they can be, even a centimeter apart. So thanks to her for sharing. Thanks for popping by. Have a great weekend.